There are two essential bits of equipment you need to do a car review. Number one, a car, and number two, right there in front of Ian, a camera. But the industry is quickly changing, and today, another bit of crucial equipment is this. Let me show you guys. It is a rather expensive bit of gear. It is a drone. Mainly because the drone, or in this case, an RC quadcopter, has the ability to mount a very nice camera. So when we're doing a car review, let's say we're at the track or even in the mountains, we can give you a perspective that's unique and unusual on the vehicle that we're testing. So coming up right now in the fast lane car, we're not going to review the Toyota, but we are going to review this. It's our latest quadcopter, the Yuneec, spelled in a very unique way, Typhoon Q500 Plus. Now, we've been using drones for a couple of years, so when this Yuneec Typhoon Q500 Plus came out, it seemed like a really good drone for our purposes. First and foremost, it comes, as you can see, in a very nice case. So when we travel, we can bring it along with us. Unfortunately, even though this looks like metal, from our recent trip, you can tell it's really just cardboard. So I'm not sure how much life the case has in it, but it's really not about the case, is it? It's about the drone. So let's take a look. When you open it up, you get a little box of accessories, basically an SD card and all the stuff you need to make it fly. You get two sets of props, which are very useful because you will bust these when you land in high wind situations, or if you're learning how to fly, you will break one of these. You also get something nice. This is a tightener for the blades, and this little bit of kit, which allows you to actually see what you're shooting. This goes on the RC control. It's a little bit cumbersome, but on a bright day like this, it's a handy thing to have. So let's open up the box, show you the aircraft. Here it is. This is the Typhoon Q500 Plus. It comes with a gimbal that works in a number of different axes. It stabilizes the camera. Now this does not have the 4K camera, but there is a new Typhoon that you can buy now that does come with a 4K camera. It's a very handsome looking drone, looks very modern to my eye, and of course it has these nice rubber feet. When you're landing, it helps cushion the fall. And then of course, perhaps the best part is the remote control. And this is nice because unlike a lot of the competitors, you get a built-in screen that lets you actually see via Wi-Fi, not Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, what the drone is seeing. So like I was telling you before, if you really want to see what you're shooting, you can mount the little bracket above the screen so that you have a good sense of what is being filmed. The Typhoon also comes with not one, but two batteries. And these batteries slip in back here. Very simple to use. Pop a battery in, attach the props, turn on the remote control, and wait for everything to start up. And for the most part, you are ready to fly. So let's do the magic of video. Attach the props so you don't have to watch that process, and then I'll go over the rest of this drone. Now the Android-based operating system on this is very thoughtful indeed, and there are a lot of nice controls. There's a little button to film, there's a little button to take pictures. This allows you to control the camera on the drone, basically the gimbal. You can rotate it down or you can rotate it up. And then this is really nice. It has a turtle mode and a rabbit mode. The turtle mode is for beginners, obviously, and the rabbit mode lets you fly the drone a little faster. There are also different flight configurations. And basically think of this as a beginner and an expert level, so you can change the way that the controls work. If you're used to flying aircraft, then you can keep it in the kind of the basic mode. If you're not used to flying aircraft, then you can put it in a smart mode that helps out. I don't want to go into those details. There's also a home button which brings the drone home in case you lose control. So it'll always come back to where you're standing, and that's a really nice feature. It also has a follow me feature, so you can have it follow this control. And is it a drone or is it a quadcopter? It's a little bit of both. The drone is an autonomous aircraft that flies by itself. This thing does lock into the satellites and it will know where it's at, but it really won't fly itself. You still have to control it. So it really is kind of an RC quadcopter, but for all practical purposes, most people would probably consider this a drone. It is remarkably easy to fly. However, it is not remarkably easy to control the camera, to fly the drone, and to review the drone. So while I know how to fly the drone, right now I think I'm going to have Tommy do the flying for us. Tommy, why don't we give him a really nice view of where we're shooting? Why don't you take that thing way up high and give him kind of an aerial tour of the Boulder Reservoir. Now, one of the things that that camera doesn't do very well is either white balancing or color, because what ends up happening is oftentimes when we shoot in bright sunlight, we not only end up with sun flares, which is not a good thing, but because the camera doesn't balance very well, we end up with orange video. And that is a big issue, a very big issue. It makes the drone a great platform, but it makes the camera, at least in bright sunlight, and I'm not sure if it's happening today or not, but it makes the camera oftentimes useless, and that's a problem. And when we first found out that oftentimes it looked like we were shooting on the sun because of the color of the camera, I called up the company and I said, hey, would you guys know what's going on here? And they said, oh yeah, there's a new camera and we'll replace it for you. Unfortunately, a month ago they promised to replace it for us, and they never did. The other issue that we've come across with this drone is an even more serious issue, and that is none of the Typhoons, this one or even the new 4K one, will fly above 8,000 feet. What I mean by that is it locks on the satellites, and if it senses that it's above 8,000 feet, it will not take off. And that may not be a problem for you guys at sea level, but it is a problem for us here in Colorado and any place really that is relatively high. And once again, I called the company and I said, hey, you know, this drone doesn't work above 8,000 feet, makes it impossible for us to shoot in the mountains. And they said, well, you have to take it back to the hobby shop. And I said, you know, if this Toyota didn't go above 65 miles an hour, and I called up Toyota and I said, you have a problem, they wouldn't say take it back to the dealer, they'd take responsibility for it. But the company said that that's not their problem, and we need to deal with the hobby shop. And that was very disappointing, because the drone itself is an excellent drone, and I really wish that the company stood by the product. But anyway, as we always do on TFL, on our scale of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, due to the fact that the company does not stand by the drone, they have not replaced the camera, due to the fact that it does not fly above 8,000 feet at all, and of course, due to the fact that the camera half the time does not work, I'm going to have to give the new Typhoon, forget it. As always, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Car. I really wish this worked better because we love the drone, but it's just not ready for prime time. At least not if you're in the mountains, and at least not if you want video sometimes. It doesn't look like you're shooting on the sun. It's hard to land sometimes because of the prop wash. Good job. Thanks, Tommy. You know, when this drone works, it's phenomenal. It's just that it oftentimes doesn't work. And sometimes that's the most frustrating of all products to review. Those that are phenomenal when they work, at the most critical times, they don't work. For instance, when we rent our track, we only get it for about an hour in the morning, and it takes probably 15-20 minutes to set up the drone, and then you get it out there, and the video is completely and utterly unusable. That is not good, boys. As Tommy would say, that's no good.